guys, it is Mary,
And Amma.
and today we are back with another review of Christine's book, Chapter 19, Bringing the Boy to the Yard. In this chapter, Christine,
I love that. My milkshake bring other boys in the yard. Damn right. It's better than yours. My yard is better than yours. Damn right. It's
God,
better than yours. That's Robin. That is Robin singing to Christine about her milkshake bringing Kody to my yard. Damn right. It's better than yours.
oh my God.
Okay.
Okay, so this chapter, Christine talks about how they were dirt poor before the show. She also kind of talks
Mhm.
about how, well, she really gets into the finances with this one. She talked about how they were dirt poor before the show and that, TLC would pay the families. And what basically would
Mhm.
happen is that I guess all the money went into the family accounts, and then the wives would
Mhm.
come to Kody and they would just tell him how much they needed, and he would just write a check. So nobody really knew exactly how much was in the family fund, what was really being
Mhm.
spent, because it was all in the
Okay.
family count. She also kind of stated how his name was on everything, like, which I think we
Mhm.
already knew, from the leases to, like, taxes,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So she said it just made it really hard to, like, get loans or whatever the case may be, just because he was so mixed up into everything. But I was very shocked about
Yeah.
that. Nobody really knew about how much money was coming in from TLC, that they just got paid from the family account, which you guys know is the
Right.
family bank account for the Browns. She
Yeah.
also kind of talked about how, like, they decided to kind of get side jobs. Mary and Christine, I think Janelle already had her job, but I can't remember what she said it was. But Mary and
Mhm.
Christine, they sold clothes on the side for a franchise, and Robin started
Mhm.
creating jewelry. Um, and basically, she created a business that never took off. I mean, Christine didn't say that, but basically that was her wording. She said, she made Sister Wives Closet, but it never really came to fruition. They tried to, like, put it out there on their social medias, but nobody really was, into it like that. So it never really kind of took off. It was kind of like a dead end business.
Yeah.
Um, and she also kind of talked about Kody, and like, she talked about Kody and him coming over. She did state that, Kody would come over randomly. He would never call first and let her know ahead of time. And the reason why she
Mhm.
wanted to know ahead of time is because Kody really would not come to a wife's house very often. If one, the house was not cleaned, it was not decorated to his liking, and then also if they did not have the foods that he liked. And usually most of the time it was very bland food, like steak and potatoes or whatever the case may be. So it's like she would
Mhm.
technically have to cook 3 meals, because Kody would like something different from what the kids liked. And on top of that, Gwendolyn was a vegetarian, so basically she was cooking three
Mhm.
different meals. So she would
Yeah.
have to do all that, and she just wanted Kody to be comfortable at her house so that he would come over more often. So when he came over randomly, it almost was kind of like, she would not have time to prepare or whatever the case may be. So it kind of like was an excuse for
Yeah.
him not to come over as often, because she never had what he
Or
needed.
not to stay, or not to stay long,
Yeah, he
because it's like
never.
I'm just not comfortable. You just don't have my things. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Cody, he would come. And she said he barely ever came during the day, if ever. And he will come at night, and then he will leave in the morning when the kids have gone to school. So she always felt like it
Mm.
was a punishment if he had left too early, because it was like, well, they don't have any time alone to talk or whatever the case may be. It's like he only stayed around when the kids were around, kind of like almost in a sense to avoid her. Well, I'm here with the kids, so I really can't
Yeah.
talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to come at night just so I can sleep, so it can look like I spend some time with you, but I'm not really spending time with you, because you're going to see in another chapter where Christine says she is like she's no good after 9 p.m. So he probably comes late at night knowing that she's exhausted, right? And he can just go to sleep. He doesn't have to be intimate with her. And then in the morning, as soon as the kids leave, he is trudging his tail out of there real quick, probably to go spend breakfast and time with Robin and the kids.
Right.
So she
Yeah.
doesn't even get 24 hours.
Yeah, she really doesn't. She probably gets maybe 10 hours at the most, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah, but then she also kind of talks about she did talk about the book a little bit. She talked about the sister wife becoming sister wives, the book that all the sister wives made back in 2012. She talked about how,
Mhm.
they had hired a writer, and I guess he got different sides of everybody's story. So basically, I think they had a writer for each wife and then a writer for Kody. And she said that book
Mm,
was very eye-opening because she kind of saw that everybody saw everything differently and that everybody kind of got to know new information that they didn't know before. Like Christine,
yeah,
she first found out about Cody because remember there was a time that Cody had talked about how, seeing her be basically like this fat kid in the back eating nachos on a trip to Wyoming made
yeah,
him not
I
want to continue
remember.
with her, and it paused their courtship. Well, she said she found out about that when she read the draft of the book in 2012. So that was the first time
Wow.
she had ever heard that Cody say that he was not attracted to her and that she disgusted him and all that stuff. So she said she was very shocked and appalled. And she said even when they ended up going and doing like, their tell-alls or whatever, Cody in very asshole manner basically was like, oh yeah, the was it the host was like, oh well, you said you weren't attracted to Christine. He said, and he was like, that is that's the underestimation or something. And she said, wow, so you weren't
Mm,
attracted to her. He said, not in the slightest. And so Robin, Mary, and Janelle all looked horrified, but she said it hurt her so bad that he would continue to say this stuff. Like, it's bad enough that you're putting it in a book, but now you're also
yeah,
repeating it on TV. And she said, well, and she said in
exactly.
her mind, like, why would you marry me? Why would you be with me if you weren't into me intimately? And she also
Yeah.
was just like, and if you love me now, why would you hurt and embarrass me so publicly like this? So she said
Mm-hmm.
she just
Because he
felt
wanted to
very,
humiliate her.
yeah, I think so. And she even said that,
Mm.
she felt betrayed, not by what he said, but also by the fact that he would deny her the opportunity to be with somebody else who truly loved her and would have appreciated her. Um, and she said that she
Just the way
also,
she was.
yeah, she also said that she felt like he had robbed her of making a good decision. Like, your lies made me choose you when I could have actually chosen a better husband. So she said
Exactly.
she felt like he
Exactly.
robbed her of that ability to make a good life decision. And she said this just did
Yeah.
not help their marriage at all. But she said she had felt very, very betrayed by him. And he also stated that, he felt like he had to marry her because she was polygamy royalty. So I'm sure she had confronted him at some point. And his answer
Mhm.
basically was like, well, you were royalty and I felt like I had to marry you.
Mm, mm,
Shame.
mm, mm. It is terrible. And, talk about Mike Kelty reading that.
Yes, like Kelsey went and called her mom. As soon as she read that book, she said, I cannot believe this is how dad felt about you all along. Like, she just was just very heartbroken for her mother. And she was heartbroken for herself.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's why sometimes I cannot understand Mike Kelty. But then, listen, she was young, so you got to pass the age of 26 before I start to um
Talk about you.
yeah, talk about you and your decisions, because I'm just thinking, questioning her going and being so close to Robin and her dad after she read that. But I understand it's complicated, the relationships, and yeah. So anyway,
Yeah. But that was the end of chapter was it? Of That was the end of chapter 19. But yeah, these past two chapters have been quite interesting to say the least.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yes, y'all. But we
I mean, that really shows Kody for, it's like we saw Kody and it's like, well, okay, read this book. Maybe we'll find some little caveat in there that will be redeeming. No, it's like what we thought about him. Yeah, it actually is what we thought about him and Robin. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, it was really, really sad and unfortunate. But I mean, I'm
Mhm.
just like, it's just the whole thing is just very heartbreaking. But I feel like it's just a blessing that she got away, really. Because I mean, like, if you can only
Yes.
imagine if she had decided to stay, like Mary, for another few years, that would have been a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure one of the big regrets is I never should have gone to Flagstaff. I keep on thinking that for all of them, like they never should have gone to Flagstaff. They should have stayed right there in Vegas. I think pushing it more to Flagstaff was a real waste of time.
yeah, it really was.
They should have stayed there in Vegas and established themselves even more. The wives, anyway, and let Kody and Robin go on off to um, Flagstaff. But I think probably what the wives were thinking, if we do that, then this is Kody's opportunity to be like, well, you weren't here with us and stuff like that. But that's what they should have done. And they all had the property that was in their names. If they decided to sell, they could have sold it and have the property for themselves. Because there they really had an asset. They had those properties in each of their names.
Right.
They had those properties in each of their names. And they wouldn't have had to do the whole Coyote Pass thing and all that. They could have, been there having doing the COVID on their own and not having to deal with Kody and let him and Robin go off. Let them go. I mean, he's not in their homes anyway. That's when that would have been a good time. It's best to leave someone when you are totally and completely strong in a strong position. And they're in Vegas, even though their relationship was going up in smoke, at least financially, I think they were strong there. I mean,
Right.
the good news though for Christine was as soon as she got to Flagstaff, she hurried up and put that house in her name.
Yeah.
She was not falling for Cody's little pie in the sky of having something on the land. She could see him it was like, just in case, I better have me some property in my name. Because
Yeah.
if that's what I had before, I shouldn't go lower than that. I owned a house before. I should own a house now. So good for her.
Yeah.
That was wise. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, you guys, that was the end of chapter 19, you all. And we will be back with the next chapter, which will be chapter 20.
Alrighty.
Yes, y'all, but it is Mary,
And Amma,
and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
bye.